So this is explosive bit of news, and this has sparked outrage amongst certain expat communities. The latest to hit the headlines is this news, and I'm going to refer to a political article. The EU's plan to share data, citizen data, right? So it's EU citizen data with US border forces, and this sparks surveillance fears amongst EU citizens. And if you go further down, what it says is the European Union is pressing ahead with talks with the US border authorities, unprecedented access to Europeans' data despite growing concerns about American surveillance. What's happening is the US, of course, they want to extract all this information. They want access to that rich biometric data of EU citizens so they can do some surveillance. They can screen ahead of time. They have all the intelligence of who exists in the EU, who is an EU citizen. And the EU, those countries want to keep access to the US. There's other pressures as well, but the key one is they want to keep the visa-free access to the US. And like everything else, they will probably give in, and that's where the European Union citizen data would be shared with an external government. So your data, your fingerprints, your biometrics, your information would now be shared with other countries, and you would not have control over this. It's legal because they have requested it. Other countries, the bigger countries, they always have moral authority over you. If you have nothing to hide, if you have not done anything wrong, then you should not be afraid to share all your personal and private information with any country. A lot of EU citizens don't agree with this. They are outraged and they're looking for alternatives. Now, what are alternatives? There are two types of alternatives, and in this video, I'm going to discuss two important things. One is what is the most private CBI passport that you can get right now. So this right now is going to be brand new information. It's not part of this whole data sharing exercise. It's a private citizenship that you own, that you strike and you keep. And there are certain programs that don't do biometrics. They stand out of that because they're underdeveloped. You're doing everything legally. They're doing everything legally. You're doing everything legally as well. In the second half, I'm going to discuss options that are natural pathways to high quality citizenships that you would want to acquire in future. So there's an interim plan with the most private CBI citizenship in 2026. And then obviously using that as a layering solution, there's a midterm plan to acquire a real naturalization based citizenship in 2026 and beyond. So first, let me start off with the list of countries that sell their passports and discuss or narrow down on the most private citizenship that you can obtain. But before I go down that list, if you're new to this channel, my name is Jay, and here we discuss residencies and citizenship, quick residencies, quick citizenships, and low-hanging fruits. So I request you to please check your subscription and turn it on, because the moment there's an update, there's a latest program, I promise you would be the first one to be notified. Now, next, let's look at the list of countries that offer CBI passports. The obvious one that a lot of people want to stay away from is the Caribbean citizenships. There are 5 programs: Dominica, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Lucia, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis. And for whatever reason, if you had to pick one, I would say the best one is the Grenada citizenship, starting at 235K in donation. The reason why I feel Grenada is likely better is because at least you get something with it, right? You currently have the EU access, but with the ETA, whether you want to, whether they would let you keep it, not keep it, we don't know that, but currently it's there. Second, it has access to Russia and China. China is a rare one. Not any other CBI program has that China access. Grenada surprisingly has it. So that's a big advantage for a few people who want a visa-free entry into China. And then the E2 for the US exists as well. So you have Russia, US E2, China visa-free. That's a lot for a CBI passport to offer. So for that reason, I think it's value for money. Is it a good privacy solution? Not at all. They're going to obviously, they've signed up for a data exchange. This is not a privacy solution, but it has some benefits. Now, the next one on the list is Vanuatu and Nauru in the Pacific. In Europe, you had Malta, that's closed, that's no longer available, but there's Turkey, Jordan, and Egypt. So it's not Europe, it's the Middle East, but you have the other two apart from Turkey. Now, in Africa, you have Sao Tome and Principe, the cheapest passport at 90K, 95K based on how many are doing it. And what are the upcoming ones? The upcoming inventory, and we're expecting this, hopefully, we don't know, but hopefully they come out, is the Botswana CBI, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Argentina CBI. We don't know the status on this, but they said they're going to launch, so we're hoping that they launch. What is the most private citizenship? What makes a citizenship not private? What really makes it not private is that the TIN, the tax ID, the tax address, and that's not the problem. The problem is data sharing, sharing of information with external Western entities. Almost all programs ask for this information and they share this information behind the scenes. The ones that are more private than the others, the number one private option I would say is Vanuatu. Now, if you compare the application form for Vanuatu with, let's say, Nauru, the key difference is startling. They ask you for your TIN, the tax ID. They ask you for your tax address. They ask you for all your previous citizenships. They ask you detailed questions about your wealth, your net worth, all those things. And they have all of this compiled. Who are they pleasing? Who are they sending this to? That's the big question. You don't have this with the Vanuatu form. And to some extent, you also don't have this with the Sao Tome and Principe. So if you were looking for privacy, these two, Vanuatu and Sao Tome, really shine, and they obviously keep your information private. So if privacy is important, then these two citizenships are critical. Now, there have been some latest changes, and I made a couple of videos on this. The launch of ETA for UK and ETIAS by the EU later this year. How does that impact getting a Sao Tome or Vanuatu? Does it have a positive or a negative impact? It may have a negative impact, and that's okay, because eventually visa-free is going to be a thing of the past. What you really want to focus on is getting an EU residency. And once you have an EU residency, you're not relying on the ETA stuff. So is getting Vanuatu or STP safe? If you're not going to be relying on the ETA, if you want to strike an EU residency anyways, then the question does not arise. So in that sense, yes, you could look at this. And none of this is immigration, legal, tax, or finance advice. This is my personal opinion. And if you're looking to start your option, if you have any questions, you can always click the link, book a call, we can have a quick chat and get you hooked up with the right legal professionals to start working on your portfolio items. So that is a little about the private citizenships. Now, if you leave Vanuatu, the reason why I said Vanuatu and Sao Tome is because these are remote citizenships fairly quickly, less hassle, less bureaucracy, more speed. So all those things, of course, are an advantage to the investor. But then you have Turkey and Egypt. They are private citizenships also, but more bureaucratic, more time involved, more complexities. So if you're looking for a sure, certain, fast citizenship, then Vanuatu is the best solution from a privacy standpoint. Is it the most respectable passport? Nope. Are you looking for respect? Are you looking for privacy? It's something that you have to decide. Now, what are some of the natural options? So let's say you have a lightweight, a burn layer, right? If you want to learn what a burn layer is, return and take a look at this video. I've covered this in terms of a pyramid, a plan B pyramid that you would want to structure in your life when you're setting up your plan B portfolios. But let's discuss the natural options here for a bit. Some of the lowest hanging fruits, the best residencies that you can target. So once you target this passport, you have an interim solution or starter solution, or you have an immediate solution. The midterm solution is probably going to be residencies like Mexico. Takes 45 minutes with us. Our team does this in 45 minutes for the card part. So if you have the visa stamped, we're looking at a single day of entry and completing the temporary residency or the permanent residency. Eventually, you can naturalize in Mexico. That's the lowest hanging fruit. Apart from Mexico, what else do you have in Latin America? There's Panama, Uruguay, Paraguay. These are the best options there. In Africa, you definitely want to collect a permanent residency from Mauritius, and we have a full team that works on this in Mauritius. You can also attach South African permanent residency in Africa. And then in Asia, if you're looking for a solution in Asia, there's the Cambodia direct citizenship. Or if you're looking for a good high quality jurisdiction, then there's the Malaysia MM2H. And then you have other options in the Middle East, like you have the UAE Golden Visa, that's more for tax optimization, but you have multiple quality options that you can strike and keep. And then over a 3 to 5 year period, you want to naturalize in high quality jurisdictions. That way you have more private options. So you have struck two things. One is a private CBI that many don't know about legally. You have solved that problem. You have struck a paper e-residency. So you're not relying on the ETAs. And the classic example is going to be Portugal. And a Portugal paper residency is possible via the Golden Visa. Then you have a paper path to an EU citizenship in future. So it solves your long-term problem. So this is the new strategy for 2026. And as I said, at any point in time, you are looking to strike any of the low-hanging fruits, residencies, or a quick passport, quick citizenship, you can always click the link, book a call. We can have a quick chat, get you started. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and catch you in the next one.